So one of the cool parts about having a YouTube channel and getting to a certain point is you can't be afraid with experimenting with new content. And one of the things that Josh and I love, first of all, we love to cook and we love food. And I'm sure you guys have seen one of the reacts. One of the things we did was we posted the reacts about food. Like Guga Foods was our first one, changing things up. I was explaining to people earlier about how, like, I was doing 4 drum streams a week, and after about 2 months of that, I was realizing that, oh, that's actually too physically exerting. That's like 208 shows a year. That's a show like every day and a half, and that's physically too much on my body. So I am, you know, downsizing the drums live streams to like 2 a week, and then doing the 2 other streams as stuff like this. All right, so does anybody know what this book is? Does anybody have an idea what this book is? If anybody can tell me the name of this song or the name of this book, you get a free month membership to the YouTube channel. Yep, Physics Metaphysics. We are on this. So if you can tell me the name of this book, you get a free month membership to the channel. And you guys can see I've read it 100 fucking times. I love this book so much. So yeah, metaphysics is awesome to talk about. I love that. And I love talking about, one of the parts of the channel that I want to start doing more is like the self-improvement stuff. Like, we can definitely talk about this. I have no problem with this stuff. So yeah, that's my little challenge. By the end of the stream, if you can tell me the name of this book, you get a free month membership to the YouTube. All right, so I wanted to read some of the stuff in this book. All right, so for those of you, hey Sophie, oh, it's good to see you. For those of you who don't know, I'm actually writing a book. It's called The RPG Life Coach. And what makes it kind of special is that this is like experienced truths, things that I've learned, and things that I've like lived, okay? That's what makes this book special. And I'm actually up to like 8 chapters. Hey, bagel with cream cheese. How's it going, everyone? Yes, 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 yes. I'm a Taurus, and I study Taoism, as a matter of fact. I can't wait until I get my Taoist book back. So we can start. This is a wonderful way to start this metaphysics talk off with the book. Okay, so life is a game. It's all about experience, and you guys can see, or you can't see it, but there's a heading right above where the RPG Life Coach is. I have the screen cut off. But it says my name, and obviously, and it says 2/12. I started writing this February 12th of 2021, so a year ago. Wow, I started writing this book a year ago. Nice! I fuck with that shirt. That's cool. That's cool. Playing McGee's Alice on the Piece. Dude, is that the movie? Let's talk Taoism. We can talk Taoism. That's part of the book. There it is. That's where it started. See, 2/12/2021. Because I like to number and date my shit. And I just came up with a publishing company because I wanted to visualize game logic for real life. Who knows? Oh, it's a game. That's cool. Exactly. The name that can be named is not the eternal name, because as soon as you put a form on something, the formless, which is the eternal, becomes like form and thus is limited and is not the eternal anymore. It is merely our perception of the eternal. You're right. Exactly. Lou says, once you gain knowledge and experience from what you do, you gave your life experience and a boost to your mental stats. That's exactly right, my friend. Oh, you've never seen I Real Monsters. Okay, I gotcha. Yeah, that was definitely like 96. I was born in 89, so... Okay, so this is like my favorite part of the book. I said, this is the dedication. I said, this book is dedicated to the people of the world who see this planet a little bit differently than everybody else. They are the ones who shape the future. Cross a bridge, thank a nerd. Seriously. I love that. And, you know, obviously with a picture of a bridge. So this is... Alright, so I color code like everything. Paulo's PC says, read his last comment. Well-scripted verse, taste and see. We know the snake see with its tongue. Yes, it does. It does. It senses the vibrations in the air. You're absolutely correct. It doesn't need to see. It can feel. You're right. So you guys can see I color code everything. So green is the stuff that I feel that I am like done with. You know what I mean? So the red means stuff that I need to work on. Black is stuff that I haven't started yet. Blue is stuff that's in progress. So there's your legend. So just to read the chapters off to you, it's like in the beginning, the eureka moment, the aha, you know, the wake up, and then like survival, how you're always hungry. Sex sells. I love that chapter, by the way. Let's build a home, talking about like, you know, the different levels of reality. And so this book is actually going to have a pictograph that comes with it, which is this. It's this map. And let me see if I can get it to where you guys can see the whole thing. Shoot, hold on. Arg. Hold on, I'm sorry. Oh, I see. Okay, so this graph, you can't really see it on stream, but here. There we go. Okay, so this is a picture that I drew that is a map that corresponds with the chapters that are in the book. And this is supposed to represent your spine and how there's like 13 levels to reality. And this is just a graph that explains how we have two gifts that are given to us that aren't in nature, the power of the word and the power of the mind. Exactly. Hollows, you would really benefit from coming and seeing this on YouTube, because what you're talking about is the graph, is the map that I'm literally looking at right now. Dude, yes. Taoism, Zen, and psychoanalysis, those are two of my favorite things on the planet. Because if you learn to really analyze yourself, you can heal yourself, and thus you could start like really helping to heal other people. Like, that's a big deal. That's a really, really big deal. All right, so sex sells, let's build a home. Chapter 6 is everybody's a critic. That's actually, I like that chapter a lot too, because it just kind of talks about how you're gonna always face opposition, so you might as well just literally tune it out. There's no point to it whatsoever. I love chapter 7, modern perception deception, and that talks about how our objective reality is literally like what's black is really white, what's up is down, it's all opposites, and you have to learn to read between the lines. InGirl, thank you so much for sharing the TikTok. You're awesome. Maybe better than you, maybe not, Lou. Yeah, I love talking about this stuff, though. I really do. And I've actually tried to help my dad with all of this kind of stuff. He just grew up in that generation that's just like, bottle up everything. Oh, that's cool. Hollow's PC, he says, swords are the suit of air. Air equals light, the shattering of illusion. That's right. The only thing that you lose when you let light into your life, you lose your illusions, you lose your darkness. That's all that happens. You're right. So I love chapter 8. It's my favorite, and it's just simply titled A Higher Calling, dude. And for those of you who have seen The Big Lebowski, you're gonna understand what that title means. Okay, the dude abides, and so should we. Period. I love chapter 9 as well. Potential differential. So if you know anything about a car differential that allows turning one wheel to turn slower than the next wheel, potential differential is how you are like a cog in the machine, and you can only turn as fast as the machine will let you turn. Hey J God, how's it going, friend? You grew up then too? Nice. Exactly. So you know The Big Lebowski. Chapter 10 is just chi. It's about your energy. I love chapter 11. It came to me in a dream. Chapter 11 is called The Quantum Loom. And if you know anything about like what a loom is, you know that a loom is like what they weave the fabric in. Asked by J God, can you? Yes, I can. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Yeah, definitely, Gizmodus. So the quantum loom came to me in a dream, and I remember just seeing kind of like a person's life, and it's like you have, on a loom, you have all the strands that go one way, and then you have your other strands that go orthogonally, and the strands that go orthogonally are like the people, places, things, and events, the who, what, whys, wheres, and whens of everything that happens. And then we are the straightforward, looms that are the main, what are called core threads. So it's like our experiences. Oh, my dad, he will get over it. That's exactly right. He will. And he will. You're absolutely correct, sir. He will get over it. He has no choice. So I'm with you, bro. I'm with you. So the quantum loom was a really interesting way to view yourself and the infinite possibility of things, and how you affect the people that are around you in this sort of quantum loom style, that once people are intertwined and threaded with you, you can't just rip it out and undo it. You know what I mean? You're going to destroy the entire fabric of your reality that you have created. There you go. Chapter 12. This one is kind of a half joke, but it's actually not. So I'm sure you all have heard this phrase 1.5 million times. In nomine Patri et Filii et Spiritus Sancti. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, right? This chapter is talking about how a concept of physics that exists, like there's 3 states of matter, 3s are everywhere, solid, liquid, gas, all that kind of stuff. Father, Son, Holy Spirit, Jesus, God, and man. Well, 3s are everywhere. So if you learn to take the 3 and combine them into a new 1, the 3 becomes 1, and it becomes this new left brain, right brain, whole brain, creative source. Exactly. So that's what this chapter is all about. In nomine Patri et Filii et Spiritus Sancti. Yeah. And then chapter 13 is kind of cool too. It's called the Essential Spark. And that one is just kind of like when you first go, oh my God, I am awake. It's just the essential spark of life. Like what gives life its vitas, its vivacity, its get up and go, you know, and how you have to create your own sense of urgency and all this kind of stuff. So there's a lot that goes into this. And then chapter 14 is actually the title to one of the songs my band plays. Is called Intro Divinity, and it's short for Introduction to Your Divinity. And it's kind of like when you just kind of have the aha moment that, you know, I am a direct image and representation of God, which means I have access to all of this stuff that God wants me to have access to. And at any time, all I have to do is just quiet my mind and go and ask it a question, and this library of information comes to me. Okay, well, that is the beginning of your introduction to your divine godhood. Just like gaining consciousness, that's exactly right. You learn that you have an internal monologue. You learn that you can actively and passively use this internal monologue to create your reality in front of you. I am gaining a house as a gift because I am God, and anything is possible. It's a mantra. It's a positive mindset. I am not saying I am God because I am taking anything away from God. I am saying I am God because I am part of the creative essential spark that creates the reality. It's like a graphics card. Your render distance is only going to be as far as your character goes. I'm also a game developer. I'm actually certified in level design and flow. That's what I used to do. And I tried to get a job as a computer programmer, but it just didn't work out. The entertainment business and being on YouTube is just what ended up working out. So here I am, baby. I hope you guys like it. Well, just like with a video game, your render distance, your VOD, view over distance, can only go so far. And honestly, physics is actually telling us this, that reality is actually a series of local consciousness that extend everywhere. Like, there is no such thing as an objective reality. It is purely subjective, and it's being collaboratively created. That's another term I've said for a long time. Triple C's, co-collaboration creation. It's like we're all making this reality together. And because we can observe things, it's because things exist. Only under the act of the observer does form and function exist. And that's what Intro Divinity is all about. So, thank you, Lou. He says it sounds like a great book. And the source is exactly that. It talks about the source. It's like, okay, and I love this. What's that? Is it the Beatles, Paul McCartney song? Ba-na-na-na-na-na-na-na, in times of trouble, Mother Mary calling, seeking words of wisdom, let it be. That song, let it be, let it be. That's a great song. That's a metaphor for the source. It's like any times of trouble, just seek it, and it will. It's like Reiki. It just takes these negative things away from you that you don't need to hold on to. It's like trying to hold fire or trying to catch smoke. Good luck with that. You can't. You can't. So, and these are just kind of some thoughts that I needed to organize later. Life is a video game. Experience gained is level ups. You know, there are certain plateaus and glass ceilings, and you're not seeing a mountain You're not seeing one cliff going, I can't do this. You're seeing a mountain that's like, I am doing this. You know what I mean? And you are progressively climbing. So yeah, that's right, J God. One day it might come true, or so they tell me. That's right. That's what I've been saying for the last 50 years. I love that, Gizmodus. And that's a great mindfulness practice. It's just mindfulness, man. Like last night, I was eating the food, and for the first time in, I don't know, a couple years, I was thinking, wow, this tastes fantastic, because I was able to slow down long enough to taste the food that I was eating instead of just shoveling for fucking nutrients going, drugs aren't for taste. So think about that too. Like you get in such a work mode that you just shoveling shit in your mouth, and it's unhealthy, and you can't do that. You can't do that. Okay, so do you guys want me to actually like read any of this, or would you guys like to we can do some questions? You know, we can chat for a little bit, or we've been streaming a nice 45 minutes. That's awesome. Wow, I was sitting here thinking I would have a hard time filling in the time. I can definitely start talking about this stuff more. I love it, and this actually gives me great ideas when as I'm talking this through to fill in the gaps and to add information to this, you know. So yeah, I don't mind at all. What do you guys want to do? If you see me pick up my iPhone, it's because I'm charging it every so often, and I hope it doesn't fall over. Let's see. Yeah. So one of the things that I talk about all the time is something called the Quest of the Grand Peacock. And I thought I had seen this in a movie or like an King Arthur's TV show or something at one point, but I can't seem to find this, so I'm actually starting to think that I fucking dreamt this, and this actually might be an original idea. So I have this concept I talk about in the book called the Quest of the Grand Peacock, and there's a reason it's called the Grand Peacock, and I'll explain, and there's a reason it's a quest. Alright, so it's not a journey, it's not an adventure, it's not a trek, it's not a trump, it's not a waltz, it's not a trot, it's not any of that stuff. It's not a jog, a sprint, it's none of that. It's a quest. It is a series of interlocutored moments in time that you can neither run to or escape from. It is a quest, right? So the Quest of the Grand Peacock, the reason it's called the Grand Peacock, because if you know anything about peacock symbolism, why is a peacock a peacock? Okay, well, a peacock is a tiny bird with a giant tail that when it spreads its tail out, it does it for one of two reasons: to mate or to ward off predators, because the giant patterns on a peacock's tail look like eyes, just like the monarch butterfly spreads its wings to look like a big face to ward off predators. And a lot of bugs and stuff will have these really hyper vigilant colors, pinks and greens and blues and oranges, just fire that wards off the predators, that tells them don't fuck with me. Okay, so that's what this Quest of the Grand Peacock is. It is your lifelong quest to become the peacock, the grandest version of yourself. Everybody's a peacock. Have you guys ever... Alright, so Vince McMahon from WWE, like that strut walk he does, that's called a peacock walk, alright? For those of you who don't know, and men do this all the time. The strut. You got to strut. That's a James Brownism, man. That is becoming the Grand Peacock. You gotta learn how to strut, baby. And only by strutting is when you start like really impacting the world the way that you should, because that only then is when you're actually giving the real you to the world, very much like how we're doing now. That's right, Lou said, like wise words in The Lion King, when confronting your past, you can either learn from it or you can run from it. That's right, dude. That's so right. Because the Quest of the Grand Peacock forces you forward to where it's like those old Mario levels that like progressively move forward with you and you can't go back. It's forcing you to grow up. It's forcing you to sit down with your thoughts and to go, this is my reality. Holy shit, what kind of decisions am I making? This is not where I'm supposed to be. and it causes you. That's why it's a quest, because there's literally momentary breaks between each of the quest line items that gives you a chance to fucking reorient yourself. 2 degrees down bubble, 6 degrees up bubble, 1.5 degree down bubble. It's all a trajectory. You guys got to learn about vector. See, that's why I came up with the Vander Vector design. I'm actually wanting to get a couple of hats and stuff, but the quest of the Grand Peacock, now that we've gotten the terminology out of the way, it's a quest that you go on through your life that reveals the inner man in you, or the inner woman in you, that deserves to be on the surface of you. It's the part of you that gets angry at the things you care about, but is also loving and kind to the poor, to the impoverished, to the childs, to the elderly, to the rightfully earning and deservable. You know what I mean? It teaches you how to be an upstanding citizen. A good Samaritan is the technical law-abiding term for that. But it's something you go on through your entire life. So let me give you an example. A large 10,000 foot view. And you know what's really cool about this, guys, is I actually have this right here. This is my graphics tablet that I could actually be drawing this kind of stuff out and start doing live streams like that. Like I call these like Draw My Lives, but I think that would be a really good idea for me to get back into as well. Starting to draw these concepts out, because I can really do like visual aids. So if you guys think that's a great idea, let me know. I notice we have a tremendous amount of people in YouTube right now. 10 people. I love you all. Thank you so much. If you haven't hit that subscriber button yet, please do. I love talking about this. And if I'm gonna start doing lives like this, I feel so good about this from the inside and out. And I was actually ready to get on stream tonight. Like, I didn't feel rushed to begin. You know what I mean? Like that weird anxiety and anticipation. No, tonight was actually like, okay, I'm gonna have some fun with it. And you guys are responding to it, and I love you for it. Thank you. So the quest of the Grand Peacock is gonna have you take ups and downs and lefts and rights and all of that stuff, man. So this book is designed to just lay a foundation of how to start seeing your life as a set of skills to be learned and experience to be earned, with the ultimate goal of becoming an in-game character with superior stats and skills to boot, okay? You and all of us are infinitely capable beings, and it's about time you start seeing yourself this way, okay? You can't become enlightened without a source of light amidst all the darkness. Well, that's very true, because there's a lot of information that it takes too long to learn it and experience it, versus just going and seeing a teacher and then having that experience happen to you and you can just connect it. Lou says side quests are meeting friends or doing everyday grocery shopping. Also with Resurrection, it's like a new game plus that you start with all the things that you have, like memories and your interest. Yes, that's exactly right, dude. And it's the same thing when you learn a new instrument or you ascend to that's a great example. My drums, I feel I have had to relearn how to play drums like 9 times since I've started all this, honestly, because I'll learn a new technique and it's just like, holy crap, how did I not like realize this before? Like, and now I have to rebuild back up from the ground level with this new knowledge and rebuild an entire new set of drums. That's just like with my doubles. Something I've been practicing lately is because my brain is having to work out the math for all of that, and I love it. I love it. I literally feel my brain grow. It's awesome. It's awesome. So you are an infinitely capable being, and it's time you start seeing yourself this way. All right. So one of the cool parts about this book is I try to lay down everything. It's not a roadmap. It's merely guidelines. That's all it is. I'm not trying to tell you how to live your life. What I am trying to help you with is how to avoid pitfalls. Sorry, hiccups. I'm doing pretty good, Ansley. How are you? Okay, so this is just some minor introductory stuff about how I was obsessed with video games as a kid, because I just kind of loved the mechanics and how the bright colors and shit moved across the screen, and then I became really obsessed with like programming, and then when I was like 7 to 12, I got into what's called binary hacking, and I was able to I created my first emulator when I was like, I don't know, 8 or 9 years old. And there's a picture of me on my Facebook somewhere with me sitting in front of a computer playing Super Mario World 2 that I built the emulator and went and searched for what's called an ISO, and it's an image file that is a copy of the disc. It's just a digital burned copy of the disc. And you can find these ISOs and you can turn them into ROMs. Anyways, it's kind of complicated, but for lack of a better word, I created a digital game cartridge, basically, and that's illegal. Nintendo will send their lawyers after you. Don't do it, children. Don't do it. It's not worth it. But I just, this influenced my life so much that I just went on and I actually became a computer programmer in my adult life. But to the point that I actually never could get a real programming job, even though I passed the programming tests. I just did not have the code immersion needed to truly understand stuff as a programmer. I do now, and I could definitely go and get a job as a programmer if I wanted to, but I love YouTube more. I love doing this stuff for you guys more, and I love doing what I am creatively interested in rather than just all the time. I can't do that, man. I can't do that. And this second chapter, the first part, is just talking about how my childhood was your typical Southern childhood and the fighting that my parents went through. And even writing this book now, I still hesitate talking about this because I just don't want to be judged by anybody by revealing too much. But it's just like, well, it's like a memoirs. Fuck it, Hey, cats. Hey, welcome. It's great to see you. How are you doing? This is cool. All the right people are joining in on the streams. I'm talking about a book that I'm writing in the YouTube, and you can actually see what I'm talking about. Like meeting new people and bonding, and then you gain experience. Yes, we call that the rub. In the professional world, you call that the rub. So if I was to hang out with like somebody like PewDiePie or Mr. Beast, and after I hung out with them, started making my videos differently, and they were just like 10 times the level in quality, well, that person's greatness rubbed off on this person. And usually that happens with great people who are above the threshold of the normal person. And like Floyd Mayweather versus Manny Pacquiao, when Pacquiao lost, he came back and fought differently because he got his ass kicked technically by somebody who was just on a different level than him, so he just kind of rubbed and got the rub. So that's the idea here. That's the idea. You know what? That needs to go in the book. The rub. Alright, very good. See, this is what I'm talking about. Updating as we go along. I love it. I love it. I'm glad to hear you're doing well. That's awesome. Okay, so this is something important that I want to point out too. When I was a kid, my grandma was like, well, what do you want to do? What do you want to do when you grow up? And I straight up told her, I want to go to space, okay? I want to go to space and build robots and send robots to space. And she laughed in my face. Happy early birthday. You said you'd be 28? That's cool. But my grandma, as a kid who's supposed to be a core supporting pillar in a person, much less a child's life, nothing's happened. I'm just still reading from my book, J God. But she laughed at me, and I don't blame her for her ignorance or her lack of vision to see the technical aptitude that the future had to offer, but I do blame her for being one of the pillars of my life of support, and she laughed in my face. And that's just something in my adult life I have just had to forgive and forget. I learned from a very early age that people are going to think and do exactly what they want to do from their own level of thinking, and there's nothing that we can do to change that. It is just, all we can do is kind of poke and prod at their psyche to fulfill our own intellectual satisfaction, to get the information out of them that we need. That's all we got to do, and just leave that shit alone, okay? It's like purposefully watching somebody's asshole when they're taking a poop, and then when they fart, you're going, ew, that stinks. That's stupid. You're just looking for shit that's gonna piss you off. So just take your mind out of it, get out of it what you need, and then just leave it alone, period. There you go. Let that be a warning, or let that be a lesson. And what's interesting though is learning how to poke and prod at people's psyches taught me about the whole like if a person is an NPC or if they're like a main character. It taught me about that concept as well. I'm sure you guys on TikTok have heard about that. This person's an NPC, they don't have free thought, blah blah blah. So But one thing I didn't realize when I was going through all this stuff as a kid is like the hero's calling. I had not learned about the hero's journey. Hey, Whitney Bruscato, hello. All we can do is control ourselves and how we react to others. I love that. I love that. That is so true. Instead of becoming a reactory being that's just like, that happened to me, fuck that. You become a respondery being that's just like, I have a shield of love and I'm rubber and you're glue and blah, blah, blah. You just kind of understand that you are not the things that happen to you. You know what I mean? Oh, I believe it, Gizmodus. Dude, I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm glad you ended up being who you are, Gizmodus. You seem like a very cool person. You seem like a very cool person. So one of the things I didn't know at the time when I was learning and experimenting about all this stuff, I think I was still like under 13 at this age, was about the hero's journey. And like normally the hero wants nothing to do with his calling. He's just chilling, doing his own thing, doesn't want anything to do with his calling, and all of a sudden something in his life happens that it thrusts him into his man or womanhood. The main protagonist can be male or female. But the most important thing is this hero's calling event thrusts this main protagonist on their quest of enlightenment, the quest of the Grand Peacock. And all of a sudden, shit just starts falling into place, and it's almost like, if you've ever seen Indiana Jones in the Temple of Doom, the part of that where Indy is going through the cave, and he gets to the set of cliffs that's like 20 feet that way, it's a cliff, and then he's got a cliff right here, and there's nothing. It's just a wide crevasse between them. The point of that test was the path of the righteous is laid in faith. Like the foundation of the path is laid in its faith. So by believing, you are creating the path that you can then walk. Believing is seeing. It's not the other way. Seeing is not believing. In that light path, if you remember, he just kind of closes his eyes and he steps forward, and then he realizes that he stepped onto solid ground, and then he takes the sand and he realizes, oh, it's just a polished, mirrored thing that's reflecting the vast expanse that's above. And he realized there really is a path there, and it showed the camera go to the side, and you see the path there. It's all there. It's hilarious. It's perception, deception. It's perception, deception. And that's what I want to talk about. That's one of the main parts of this book. The hero he's gonna deceive himself by just kind of wanting to, I just want to sit back and do my own thing for a while. Well, life has other plans, and the more you're able to accept the reality, the faster stuff, just like the pages in a book, how this is 1, 2, 3 all the way to the end, the pages of your life will just start falling in order. Period. And you don't have to worry about anything. You just have to do. So yeah, very well said. I agree, Whitney. Very well said. Lou, I'm not really sure what that means, buddy. Like, what that's in reference to. Can I tell your story? Yes, I'm gonna have to re-look it up though. You're gonna have to give me just a few minutes. I'm gonna need to make a video about it because it's gonna be worth making a video for. But yeah, the last thing I'll say about the quest of the Grand Peacock is it's literally just a quest that's designed to push you past your normal limitations. All right, so the idea being is that the original, like Arthur, had an infestation of the Fae in his kingdom, and he needed to actually go to the realm of the Fisher King to get the Holy Grail in order to actually have the power to be strong enough to expel the Fae from his land, from Albion. Well, along the way to the realm of the Fisher King, he has like 2 or 3 bouts. Like, one is a fight with the basilisk that damn near kills him, and then he heals from that and realizes he has like natural immunity to poison now, and there's all this magical mystical shit. And like through this quest, actually Arthur is exposed to magic and realizes that magic can heal and not just destroy. So he is like, his mind is open, because think about it, the story of Arthur comes from Uther, his dad, and Uther literally killed all the magicians in the land, because the story goes Arthur was born of magic. The wife could not conceive. She was barren, so they consulted with the Fae to make her pregnant, and one of the drawbacks to this was they're gonna take the wife's life. She dies during childbirth, and Uther just kind of goes no, and he shares this vendetta against magic and goes, all magic is bad, and just that's why Uther Pendragon bans it for all that time. And Arthur goes through this quest and realizes that, oh shit, he finds out what his father did. He gets really pissed off at him, actually almost kills him, I think. But Uther ends up dying by, I can't remember if it was natural means or poison, I don't remember, but something does happen to him, and then Arthur does take the throne. But that's the point of this quest. It's to realize that you are your own savior. There's no artillery, there's no cavalry. You are the general, you are the rear admiral, you are the Air Force, you are everything of your own life, and there's only one of you. I've counted. Yeah, cats. And I just laid this all out in the book. You know, for anybody to have, all right, because the goal of it is you're going through this really traumatic experience to have this new faith in yourself. You are building courage, you are building valor, you are building bravery, you are building a spine, is what we would call it in the 21st century. Oh yeah, I agree, Lou. He's saying that we can have different viewpoints, and the media we consume can have an effect on our minds. That's exactly right. That's why I don't really watch TV. I love my books. You know, I love my books. My books are the most valuable currency to me that I have, okay? Information is the most valuable currency. And these 4 books I'm holding, I have so many of these kind of books, I can't even hold them. I have so many, I've actually thought about liquidating some of them just to earn some money back. Because I didn't spend too much money on books. I could really start saving some money to buy a house. That's the point of the YouTube that I'm up to now. And you know, I would actually love to start doing videos like this too, not just the react videos. Would you guys ever want videos like this on YouTube of just like self-help concepts? Maybe I could start, maybe that would be an awesome thing to start doing videos about. Everyone, and I mean everyone, is the heroes to their own journey. The catch is the majority have yet to accept their hero's journey event in order to actually start their lives before they're even in the ground buried, okay? What a shame. I am grateful to be able to share this information with you all, and this is all coming to the public for the first time. Those of you who follow my stream know I don't normally talk about this stuff, and it's not that I'm ashamed, it's just I didn't know that the audience wanted this kind of information. Well, here we are. I love it. And we can do this anytime you want. Yeah, books are mind food. Oh, I love end of the world movies. Do I like watching end of the world movies? I do. I love end of the world movies because you just never know what Hollywood knows and what they're gonna tell you about. It's interesting, dude. It's so interesting. So interesting. Yeah. So yeah, that's like 20 or 30 minutes dissecting the first chapter of the book. That's not bad. That's not bad. That is not bad.